My name is Allison Schultz, and I am Assistant Curator of the Ornithology Department, which means birds.
Hi, my name is Jorge Vargas. I'm the Associate Curator of Marine Mammals at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. When we hear the word dragon, we immediately think about these giant mythical creatures with scaly skin. Sometimes they have wings. They tend to have big, pointy things.
So as someone who's been a fantasy buff for my entire life, I'm really excited to think about dragons and how they might be inspired by actual creatures in the natural world. One big difference between dragons and birds is how the wings function. And so one thing that you notice about bird wings is that essentially all of the arm bones are making up the wing. So when a bird's flapping, they're essentially flapping their entire arm. Now dragons are actually much more like not birds, but actually other flying creatures, which are bats. So here I've got, from our friends in the mammalogy department, we have a vampire bat. And one thing that we notice is that these little kind of spines in the wings are actually elongated fingers. And so unlike birds, where the fingers are actually very reduced, when a bat is flapping its wing, it's actually more like it's opening and closing its hand. And that's very similar to dragon wings. And so the skin in between all of their elongated fingers is actually, much more kind of leathery. Here in this specimen, it looks pretty dry and like paper, but it'll be pretty flexible, just like you see in dragons when they're flying. Another similarity when you think about dragons, dragons don't have feathers like birds do. They have scales, but they do also both lay eggs. Here I've got a few different types of bird eggs. Dragon eggs are pretty big, but compared to the size of the dragons, they're actually pretty small. And so just like that, birds actually grow really fast and can come from pretty small eggs. So this is an ostrich egg. So you can see for the size of an ostrich, the ostrich has quite a long way to grow after it hatches. Here I've got an emu egg. Looks a little bit like an avocado, but it has kind of a bumpy texture. When this egg is fresh, it actually looks kind of more like a turquoise green, very beautiful.
Imagine yourself walking around someplace and you come across something that's big, that has teeth. Kind of like this fossil here, which has this huge, very pointy, very globular teeth. In this case, what we have here is part of a fossil sperm whale. And in the past, sperm whales used to be more raptorial, which meant that they would swim around more actively looking for prey, and they had gigantic teeth. And this is the tusk of a walrus, but if you have no context what a walrus is, you're gonna imagine that these are maybe the fangs of something giant, kind of like a dragon. Not knowing what these animals were or what they're related to, when finding something strange, we always try to interpret these things as best as we can. For many of us, scientists and people who are more familiar with nature, we sometimes take for granted how much nature has inspired us to bring these imaginary creatures to life.